Please come on. We're taking the meeting to a close. We have been able to achieve what we needed to achieve. We have been able to achieve what we needed to achieve. And we are about to draw a curtain for today. Akwa Ibom is on. Yeah. Akwa Ibom is on. Yeah. Akwa Ibom is on. Yeah. Like I pleaded before, we want to appeal that we should step down the middle of the minutes. We've been able to achieve one greater thing we needed to achieve today, and that is about the end of the year party and the Akwa Ibom Cultural Day and Food Fair, which we are going to do. I can promise you it's going to be world class. God giving us money to be able to streamline it. The whole world will watch. And I tried to make an inquiry yesterday at Akiscom Hall when I was there yesterday. We talk about having maybe AIT to come and cover that event for us. Whatever amount of money they will collect, we'll see how we can bargain. So it's going to be a world-class cultural and food fair event. I'm believing God that what you have done now, with the assurances you have given me now, and those promises you have made, we have between ending of October and ending of November to make those things available. We have 2 months. So please, I want to beg all of us, as you have committed to this very community service, that nobody you can give a little this ending, next month give food, and that will be that's for Abasedi on the talk Bible. Amen. Abasedi on the talk Bible. Amen. I don't know whether anybody has anything to say. One or two questions, something very important. I've said everything I needed to tell you. We want to take a man and a woman. Then probably we're able to get reports from some important committee. We talk about football match during this coming anniversary we begin to do. That week, throughout the week, third week of December, will be full of events. We want the women from Ikota will play with the women from Ogombo. We will also see who is going to win. Then also youth from Ogombo will play with youth from Ikota. And of course, the chairman of the sport committee told me that there's a football field around Ogombo Road. There's one open field there. All of us will converge on that very place that day to cheer them up. The women will play. The youth will play. So I'm believing God that day will be a great song. Elders will play too. And it's going to be a very big event. We are expecting that all our invited guests, I think the committee, the latest presentation which will be made ready between now and next week, or before 2 weeks' time. We have so many people to invite. We'll send for the governor's representative from the state license office. We invite them on time. Akiscom president, all the people that matter. While we're talking, a very important personality walks into our midst. You know, Akwa Ibom people, we are known for our good hospitality. Is it not so? Yes. Yes. We love receiving visitors. I've never seen Akwa Ibom hurt a visitor before. If a visitor misses road, we'll show you the way and lead it to the right place. While we're talking, there's a visitor that we expected, which I would like to give him the floor to talk to us. He's our friend, he's our brother, he's somebody that means well for the country. I said sometime here that the governor of Kaduna State, Abi El-Rufai, said there is no alternative to Buhari. Did you read something of that nature? Yes. And I said no. we have alternative to Buhari.
Oh yes.
In a country where there is Sowore, in a country where there is people like Dele Momodu, in a country where have people like professors, a man that doesn't have first school certificate, a man that has nothing to offer. We have seen the hardship, we have seen the suffering, we have seen the killing, we have seen all the things that we are passing through. God forbid, but He will not rule us again. Akwa Ibom is Sowore.
Yeah.
Akwa Ibom is Sowore.
Yeah.
Akwa Ibom is Sowore.
Yeah.
In that regard, we are for election time, and there is no way God will not give us somebody to lead the country.
Oh, yes.
Of course, we are open to support candidates that will come into our midst. We have received Fela Durotoye the other time and his people, but today there's a very special man in our midst. He is the flag bearer for the party called ANRC. Okay, AAC. Sorry, AAC. But you don't want to say ANN. Alan for Nigeria. That is for Fela Durotoye. So you may do ACC.
African Action Congress.
African Action Congress. AAC. And today they told me there's a meeting, there's a message for the people of Akwa Ibom. So these are the Akwa Ibomites in Ajah area. The number you are seeing is very, very small. This is not our members. I can show you from our register. We are more than 500. But you know, meeting, you cannot get everybody at the same time, at the same day. So we want to welcome him into our midst. He came with his team. And I'm believing that he's coming for campaign. And of course, election is 4 months time from now. I think election will be on the 16th of February.
February,
yeah. Yes, February 16th. Presidential and National Assembly election. I really pray that Buhari will not come back. Yeah. Because a vote for Buhari is a vote for Boko Haram. If you follow me on Instagram, my Facebook page, everywhere I go, I'm in the midst of top journalists. I'm a group where Dele Momodu is inside. Fanika, top journalists are inside the group. I get angry anytime we talk about Buhari. But I told him, no, you cannot give what you don't have. You are not helping the country. So we need young people. Akwa Ibom is Sowore. Yeah. We want to give the floor to our guests. Please, make welcome and put your hands together.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Very, very good. I've always...
Please, I would like to interpret for the sake of our mamas and those our brothers. Don't worry. Go ahead.
So, I don't feel like a stranger in your midst. The reason is very simple. There are some states that I picked up on as a journalist as I was doing Sahara Reporters. And Akwa Ibom was one of the places where I placed my eagle eyes. For those of you who do not know me, I used to be the publisher of Sahara Reporters. Akwa Ibom State, River State, Delta State, Kaduna State, Borno, and a few states like Lagos. I put my eyes on those areas because there's so much resources coming to Akwa Ibom that I knew that Akwa Ibom could be better than Amsterdam in Netherlands. As you know, you guys have not been too lucky as well with governors.
Yes.
Some of your governors, their hands are very finicky. They steal your money. And I used to put one of them on fire all the time. The one that went to APC. Akwabi. If you ask him about me, he will never forget. It is because I really wanted the state to progress. And when I was told that you have a gathering here in Ajah, I came all the way from Abuja to attend it. And this is the first gathering that I'm attending since we started the election campaigning for Nigeria. I don't need to tell you, our spokesperson here has said it. It would be a crime if this country goes back to Buhari again in the next 9 years.
God forbid.
It will be a disaster, it will be a calamity, it will be a catastrophe.
Yes.
Right? And the catastrophe is not something we even want to see. Because this is like a nuclear bomb about to explode on the people of Nigeria. They have done the worst they can do, and we have seen the best they can do. They have nothing else to offer us.
Oh yes.
What I have said and I will repeat here is that they have run out of ideas, but they have not run out of tricks. That is the reason why it is part of the trick that made them to recruit your man, Akwa, to come and join APC. Akwa that knows that Buhari brain doesn't even have the amount of water that coconut has inside of it. He's asking the people of Akwa to go and vote for someone. That guy doesn't like it. But the reason is because of his own hands that are very dirty. They cut his hand inside the cookie jar, so he cannot remove it. It's like a rat that was caught eating bread, you know, inside that trap. They hit him back like this. Instead, the only thing he can do is to go and join them. But you don't have to join retrogression. You don't have to go backwards when you have a chance to move forward. And that is the reason why we have come to present ourselves. We are young people. I'm 47 years old. There is no reason Nigeria should be voting for an ancestor. And it's not an old man, it's an ancestor. He's an ancestor to a lot of us. He's the great-great-grandfather of a lot of people today. And the man has nothing yet to offer you. But they want him to drag Nigeria with him to his grave. He will go to his grave, but Nigeria will never go to his grave. And I must also say that Buhari is also not different from Atiku. Atiku is also 70-something years old. He has been a custom officer in this country. He knows the customs, what they do there. He was vice president for 8 years. He's the owner of Intel that processes all the import and export that goes out of Nigeria. Suddenly, he remembers that he wants to restructure Nigeria. The restructure Nigeria will not work for Atiku, so they are just using that to lie to you because they know we South people and Southwesterners and South people in the South in general, we are talking about restructuring. So they are using it to trick us into another trap. It is the return of corruption with vengeance. You know the people that are working with Atiku. Saraki is his DG. Benga Daniel is one of his right, is going to be his SGF. If you see people that surround him, you know, what's that? The cabal, this man that's their own silver belt. Bruce, I caught Bruce. He collected loans from Nigeria to do Galleria. Took the money, I went and bought house in Los Angeles. I was the one who caught him. These are a bunch of thieves. And I say it without equivocation. I challenge them. If I call you a thief, you don't like it, you can sue me. Yes. And I take you to court, I open book for you. Yes. The judge will run away. Yes. But where we are today is to discuss our future. And that is what I want to go into directly. Your children need to go to school that are great schools. We need to be able to go from here to Akwa Ibom without dying on a highway. It is not even that we should be driving to go to Akwa Ibom by now. We should have a train that goes from Lagos to Akwa Ibom in 3 hours. Yes. Straight, without any inhibition on the road. Maybe make a few stops. You can have express. That is the way other countries are developing all over the world. Countries that have the same amount of resources you have the best schools, they have the best airports, but what is it that you have? Nothing. Akwa Ibom, one of the richest states in Nigeria, cannot boast of anything other than a stadium that they said they use the money. But each time they build themselves a stadium, you know what? They have built their own private stadium for themselves. It is not stadium that you need there. You need schools. You need university. You need hospitals. Your governor, Akwa, once he had accident in Abuja. He ran to me. I want to tell you some stories. See how they are playing with you. He now called me You know, I saw him, he was trying to use his credit card. It didn't fail. I reported it with video. He now called me and said, Sowore, where did you find out that I'm using my credit card and it failed? I said, it's because you are doing wayo in London. He said, but I had accident. My leg nearly broke. I said, do you remember Akwa that you told me that you have just built a world-class hospital in Akwa? Yes, it's the best in Africa. When you had accident, why did you go there? The last guy said, the doctor that was supposed to come, he didn't arrive on time. I said, you are a liar. Tell them. And I told him, since that day, he has never called me. And he is a very, very sneaky human being. You know, a very tricky person. He tried to ask me to come to Akwa Ibom to inspect project. I said, Akwa, do I look like an engineer to you? You know, if I see a project that is fake, I don't know it because I'm not an engineer. But you know what he was using Akwa Ibom money to do? He called journalists. That's why they never reported anything against him. It's only Sahara reporters you can find his dossier. Bring them to Akwa Ibom. He was playing for that Christmas with your money instead of investing in your people. I know some of you like him. That's your problem. But you got that guy should change you. During his 8 years, that state would have been transformed completely. Yes. But you know where his heart is. His heart are with these Boko Haram people. And that's where he returns. That is his natural home. Because he has the Boko Haram blood also in his body. Yes. Otherwise he will have no business. So people of Akwa Ibom, it is now your turn. It is now our turn. It is the turn of the young people of Nigeria. And we are not just saying it is because we are young, it's because we are young people who have capacity, who have capability, who have integrity and pedigree. I have done this for 30 years, fighting for what is right in this country, what is just in this country. I've done journalism of unequivocal, you know, you can't find the type of journalism I've done in Nigeria for the last 12 years through Sahara Reporters, exposed all of them, offended who I needed to offend. And what I call myself, I'm an equal opportunity offender of thieves. That's what I do. And it is time now to take that to the next level where the activism that I've done in the last 30 years we brought to bear on a country that badly needs development, that badly needs progress, and also is in search of peace and proper unity of the country. Not the unity that they say on Radio Nigeria, but the way in which we can unite you with your resources. That resources can benefit you, and resources are not used against you. It's the kind of leadership we are bringing. So what we want to do with our coming to power is 10 points agenda. Number one is security. Everybody must be secure in this country. That's my number one priority. And number two is to bring electricity to bear on this country. There's no reason, there's no way we can make progress without power. Number three is infrastructure. We are talking about trains, roads. We want to dualize all our highways. Anywhere there's a federal highway. We have the money. I know it because I follow the money. That's what I do before I came to contest for office. Number three, we want to fight corruption. Not the way Buhari is fighting. Today, Akwa Ibom, they said Akwa is the bad person. The moment he joined APC, he become a saint. He has become saint. In APC, right? He's no longer corrupt. And number four, we want to change the economy of this world to favor the people of Nigeria. What are we trying to do? Create 5 million jobs. Part of it will come from this investment in electricity, will come in investment in infrastructure, investment in education and health, because we want to hire 200,000 teachers. I used to collect pictures of some of the worst secondary schools and primary schools in Nigeria. Guess where I got some of it from? Akwa Ibom. Yes. I remember there's one of the secondary schools we put on Sahara Reporters, and immediately they see that they ran to the place to go and do some polishing of there's no reason why Akwa Ibom schools are not competing with Atiku secondary schools and university in Yola, because you have the money, yes, right? And we are totally committed to restructuring. But our restructuring, yes, our restructuring is not going to be driven by Atiku. It's not the restructuring of the people who destroyed Nigeria cannot restructure Nigeria for the future. It's a restructuring for young people by young people. Yes. Because it's our future that is at stake. Yes. I want for us to sit down and have a brand new constitution. Even the constitution of Nigeria today is a fraudulent document made by the military. Yes. And they pass that document through a referendum. So whoever wants to remain in Nigeria has the right to say yes or no. And those who want to remain have the right to control their resources and not contribute it to people who don't love them or who don't care about them. Nobody has the right to come from any part of Nigeria and kill somebody in his farm and then drive back freely. That's where we connect to security. We also want to do health, education, agriculture, and also tourism. And most importantly, for those of you who are from the South, every oil company that is doing business in Nigeria must submit 10% of their profits directly to the community. I have traveled far and wide, and Chevron from here built cities in the US where they have to measure air quality that they breathe. It's called San Ramon in California. But the villages where they carry out their exploration are in darkness. They have no schools, they have no drinking water. So we must end that discrimination between oil-producing communities and oil-producing companies. And 10% of their profit is not too much for us. It's in fact too little, considering that we own the resources that belongs to us, and we can decide whenever we want that we don't want the resources to even be plundered anymore.
Yes.
So that is my promise to you. I know I can stay here, you know. The biggest mistake you can make in your life is to give a microphone to a politician. You understand? But I'm not a politician, I'm an activist, I'm your brother, I'm a revolutionary spirit in your midst, who is angry at the way this country is being mismanaged on a daily basis, who is tired and sick and tired leaders who have run our country aground and mismanaged our lives to the point that we, who are supposed to be the richest people on the continent of Africa, are the poorest people on the surface of the earth. That must be discontinued, and we have come to bring that solution. I want to thank you one more time for listening to us.
I know so many people has questions to ask.
Yes.
But hold down, we surely ask. And you know, it is politics. And everyone must try to do the right thing. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as this group is concerned, we are for the young people. And I really encourage you for us to support instead of bringing young ideas. Some people's idea has been retarded.
Yes. So
they're supposed to retire home to go and rest. I'm believing God that if we give people like Mr. Sowore, I've known him to be a journalist that many politicians would never like, because if I follow him a lot on Sahara Reports, I follow their news, and any news they give is always authentic. In fact, any news from Sahara Reporter, you can always take it back home. People will be coming, other bloggers will copy before he now go viral. I've known him to be speaking the truth, but my fear could be what he has been doing, because most time we saw Jonathan said I did not have a shoe to wear when I was in school. But sometimes when people enter Sowore, maybe the convenience of the luxury of Sowore will make them to forget the ordinary man on the street. So I believe that we have some, I want to take from very few people some of the important questions we want to ask them. So if we give you this opportunity to rule Nigeria for at least, let's say 4 years, because it pained me that somebody said nobody can start a project in 4 years and complete it. It's a lie. It's a lie. When the money is there, you can do anything. So we have the resources, we have the people that can do it. I want to see how many people have some important questions to ask. Let us just hear from them. Wow. No, it will not take much. Okay. Okay, I'll take from 5 people. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Ephesians 3. Apostle 4. Then Paul 5. Take that 5. Let's start from Daniel. Okay. Straight to the question.
When I say AC, you say take it back. AAC,
take it back.
Okay, I want to ask my friend, this is the first time I'm meeting you. I've been following you. I'm also a politician. I want to ask this question, very, very, very crucial one, because we all want young people to come in. But how do you intend to drive this? Because whether we like it or not, it involves money. You can never take away money from politics. But we want to, I believe you are in the generation where we want to stop money politics. But how do you intend to drive going all through the 36 states in Nigeria, going to local government, at least, you know, you touch places. How do you intend to achieve this?
I will answer that very quickly. I have already started bringing an end to money politics. Before you could ask this question, within 6 months, we have traveled to 30 states in Nigeria. We have 6 more states to go. We didn't have a private jet. In some places we have to take canoe. In some places we have to take Okada. What I can report back to you is that Nigeria is not as big and as complex as they make you believe. They use that as a panic button so that you will not be running to become Nigeria's president. Nigeria is half, what I would say is the size of one state in the US, Alaska. And US has 50 states. And yet, they govern it very well. But when you have lazy people, corrupt people, dishonest people governing you, even if you ask them to govern this compound, they won't be able to run it very well. That is what is killing Nigeria. I've already started transparently raising money. We raised $80,000 on GoFundMe, which is a technological way of openly raising money. They call it crowdfunding. And we opened an account in Nigeria, raised almost 23 million naira between May and now. And we have been explaining how we raise money to people and how we are spending the money. It doesn't cost a lot because people have now realized that getting 5,000 naira on election day is not going to guarantee your 4 years of happiness. If you divide 5,000 by 4 years, what do you get per day? Nothing. But don't forget that that 5,000 naira is your money that was stolen from you by politicians, and they gave you just a fraction of it so that you are excited, and then you will never hear from them again for 4 years. What we are selling, finally, brother, is ideas. Ideas must become the next new currency in Nigeria politics, so that people with money will be shamed this time around. That's our problem.
This one, raising money through the normal means from the people, supporting them. Okay, the next person, Don Victor.
Yeah. How is song?
Yeah.
How is song?
Yeah.
Once again, I'm very grateful to see you in person. I've been seeing TV and whatever. This is the first time seeing you in person. I'm happy. You said you have 10-point agenda.
Yeah.
Fine. And out of this 10-point agenda, you said something that touches me most: light.
Yes, electricity.
Please, with due respect, how can we achieve light, and how soon can we achieve light in this country?
How can we achieve light?
The question comes back to what he just said about when they want to lie to you, they will tell you that it takes 4 years. No project can be done in 4 years. What we did is to research what do we produce right now? 3,700 megawatts of electricity maximum.
Yeah.
It comes mostly from hydroelectric power sources. Then we have gas turbines all around the country, but most of the time they don't get gas supplies because militants have figured out how to blow up the pipelines. So what is it that we are not doing? We have an important thing that we have that we are not using. We have sunlight. So everywhere in the world today, they are using sun to generate electricity, right? It's called solar energy. The country known as Morocco and Tunisia, right now, have just completed within 2.5 years, 4,500 megawatts of electricity in their country using solar energy sources alone. It's also renewable. The moment you put a battery there, they'll give you the last 50 years. They'll give you a warranty of 50 years. So Nigeria needs to build solar energy sources so that we can use at least 5,000 megawatts of electricity generated within 2 years alone. And that added to 3,000 that we have now, we have reached 7,000. But what we need is 24,000 megawatts for us to have 24/7 electrical supply. So where do we go? Biogas, which is also a renewable source of energy. How can we do biogas? All these cows that they are running around killing people, if you put them in a ranch, their dung can be used to generate electricity. Most people don't know these things. Even gas that we have in the Niger Delta, we can not only use the pipelines to get them, but we can also truck them to the power plants where they are needed. But we don't have trucking because we don't have highways. It's the reason why we are saying that all of our 10-point agenda must work pari passu. You can't do one and leave the other. Because if you don't have roads, then you have nowhere to take the trucks to the power plants. But the moment you have power in this country, the economy of Nigeria will grow by 75% because of the brain of our people. Our people, the Nigerian people, are helping to run other countries and running it very well. You go to South Africa, possibly the best doctor in the hospital is a Nigerian. You go to the US, where I have lived for 19 years. The best doctors, the guy who has the capability of taking a child from the belly removing whatever is wrong with the child and putting it back, and the child is born perfect, is a Nigerian. One of the best doctors in the world today. And sometimes we wish that these doctors can come and remove the head of our leaders, replace their brain, put it back, so that that's a joke. But honestly, there's a lot that we can do in the electrical sector.
Bring light to
gas, biogas, also hydro. If you look at hydro right now, at Kanji, we have about 3 turbines. Only one of them is working. Because why? Until it rains, we don't even know how to power the turbine. And each time we give a contract to our politician friends, they go and buy fake turbine. In fact, they never get there most of the time. So we have so many things that we can do. Fixing our refineries, producing more gas locally are things that can bring about energy. But the good news for you is that you need things done the digital way. Technology has solved a lot of problems. But guess what? Without having guys who are leaders, who have technology, who are digital brains, you can make progress. It's what I say all the time. You have analog leaders leading a digital society. You are wasting your time. That's true. That is what the Buharis will do to Nigeria. So trust me, within, and your answer is within 2.5 years.
Within 2.5 years,
Nigeria will have light.
It is possible.
I want to say that to actually put together solar panels, you can do them in 90 days. The moment you have all the parts shipped into it. 90 days, yes. In 90 days, you can put together parts that can power the University of Lagos in 90 days. You can go and Google, search this one. Google is our friend in that regard. You just need to bring in the products. But you know, our leaders, when they ship in these solar panels, as they usually do, they want them to first of all ship in their SUVs, cars, and they never ship in the materials. And when they ship in the real materials, custom, corruption, before it gets to where it needs to be, everything is too late. Yes.
That's fine. Put your hands together now. We can solve power problem in 2.5 years.
Mr. President, I would like to ask you some technical questions. My question number 1 is this. Sir, if you are elected to be the president of this country.
I want you to use when they are elected, not use when
okay. Okay, sir. That's accepted, sir. Please, I would like to ask you, are you ever traveling on Nigerian road to Abuja? Are you ever traveling from Nigerian road? When you travel to Akwa, are you ever used road? Now, I want to ask you, how many of your children school in Nigeria? And I would like to ask you for your health challenge. Are you using Nigerian hospital?
Thank you so much.
That's 3 questions. Now, come again. If you want to migrate from ANC, what would you like to come and tell us that you migrate to join APC or any other party, any other political party? What would you like to come and tell us? Please tell us, sir.
Yeah. 4 questions. Have you ever traveled by road to any part of the country?
I have, in the last 6 months, traveled mostly by road to every part of Nigeria. If I stand here and count the number of roads I've traveled through, we will be here till tomorrow morning. But I have done Kano, Kaduna. I have done Yola, Jalingo, which is one of the worst roads. I've done the east-west, traveling from Port Harcourt to Warri, traveled Warri to Lagos. In the course of campaign, traveled Ibadan to Ogbomoso, traveled from Ogbomoso to Ilorin, from Ilorin to Abuja. In the course of this campaign, and I'm mentioning the roads that probably some of you have never heard about before, and so I have traveled extensively in the last 6 months and witnessed firsthand some of the worst highways. And one of the worst that I've actually seen in Nigeria in recent time is the one between Ajah, Lagos here and Badagry. Terrible highways all over. You cannot use express when you are describing Nigerian ways. So that's number 1. You ask the question, if I send my children to school in Nigeria, I didn't have kids when I left Nigeria 19 years ago. I had my kids when I was there in the US, born by a Nigerian woman. But I will assure you that as soon as we win, the children are coming back with us to attend Nigerian schools, because it's the only way a Nigerian leader can fill the schools if they send their children to Nigerian schools. If my children were born here, they will go to a Nigerian school, there's no question. I went to a primary school in the village and attended public schools all throughout my life until I got to the US before I attended a private school, Columbia University in New York. I attended primary school, 2 secondary school public, and the University of Lagos here in Lagos. So you asked if I go to Nigerian hospitals. Of course, I've been falling sick more frequently since I came to Nigeria than I've been sick in the US in 19 years. So wherever you are sick, you go to, I go to not only Nigerian hospital, I go to Nigerian herbalists, because it depends on where you are sick. Some places, most places there are no hospitals. So you have to go and see somebody. You know how these things work. So I patronize Nigerian hospitals, Nigerian herbalists, traditionalists, anything that can make you well. You know how it works. So what's the fourth question he asked?
The third question, we're talking about
oh, migrating from one party to the other. Yes. You don't need to migrate. You need salvation. If you are in any of those other political parties, APC or PDP, you and I know that you have missed your way all this while, and it is time to go into the right place. Those guys have destroyed this country. PDP did their 16 years of nothing to show for it. APC has done even worse than PDP in 3 years. What the screws that PDP made loose, APC PCC it when they came. So I'm not going to recommend any one of you to go to, just come out of it, ask for forgiveness and join our party. And that's the party of the future. It's a digital party, and it's a party that can take this country to the next level. That's why we use the word take it back. It's take it back. Take your country back.
ANC, take it back. We are taking our country back. The fourth person passed Apostle Raphael.
Akwa Mishaw.
Yeah.
Akwa Mishaw.
Yeah.
Akwa Makibono. I welcome my president to be. I acknowledge your courage and for coming out at this in time like this to fight this kind of battle, because it's not an easy battle. So my question is this: one, whether we like it or not, there is a cabal. This country is in the hands of certain cabal that they believe that very difficult for any other person to break through. So how are you planning your fight? Because definitely to take back this country, the arrow must also be shooting at this cabal, so that we'll be able to dismantle. Without dismantling this cabal, you will not be able to take this thing back. Now, secondly, you have talked so much in terms of the developmental project that you will be bringing in. Sir, with all this, I know that you will not be the person executing this project. You will put people in place. And Nigeria that we are is a place where due process have been destroyed. There is nothing like due process. So how are you going to make sure that these people, your Minister of Works is using due process to make sure that the works are being done? Because it's very possible for you to award contracts on paper, and yet the thing is not done visible. And we'll come back here, go and shoot a place that has already been constructed. There is on the screen for people to see, and people in Nigeria will start dancing and say that people are done, but the place that the contract was awarded still remains untouched. How are you going to work in terms of due process? Because without due process, all this we are saying will still come back to zero, because you will not be everywhere. You will only be in one place receiving report. Yes. How are you going to do in terms of the due process and also dismantling the cabal?
Two questions. I would say that even the nomenclature cabal was something that was generated on Sahara reporters. Interestingly, when Yaradua was sick and his wife and some people held Nigeria to ransom, so we started calling them Yaradua cabal. We started that particular use of that language, that adjective on Sahara reporter. What did that tell you? I know who these cabal people are. I know how they operate. I know where they are. I have been fighting cabals by myself as a journalist for 12 years. Every cabal in this country, every major cabal has had some issue with me. Either it is in the economic, political, traditional, you know, there's cabal everywhere. In fact, some of you have cabals in your houses. You know them. So we have been fighting them, and I tell you, cabals are the most cowardly people I've ever seen. That's the reason why they hide behind such nomenclatures and groupings. And they are very easy to dismantle. What dismantles cabal is transparency. The moment you shine light on them, cabal, you know, falls apart. So, who are the people behind Yar'Adua? It was because we kept mentioning their names. That was how Jonathan was able to become president. The night before Jonathan became acting president, he was being threatened to resign by the chief of army staff, who is now the internal affairs officer, Dambazu. We were the ones that reported that Dambazu is planning the coup. And that forced them. They had another general in Jos at that time who was going to strike because they didn't want a minority to become the president of Nigeria. So there's no big deal about cabal. I know them. I fought them before. I have scars to show for it. They also have scars to show for the grueling fights we've had. So don't worry about cabal. Elect the right anti-cabal sanitizer. He has two questions.
Okay, cabal. Apostle.
He's talking about due process. So I want to say to you that the president of Nigeria is not necessarily a person who sits behind a desk. Maybe it is because in our lifetime, the only president we know are people who are disabled. So they're always hiding behind the desk in hospital. Because of that, we don't know. Or some of them have alcoholic problems, so they are disabled by either their own design or natural designs. But a president is a chief motivator of the country. How would the president have 9 jets and he cannot find out where a project is going on in the country? What is this time now? Why can't we get a helicopter, go to Akwa Ibom and find out with the contractor, where is the road we asked you to do? And let's put the light there. And the contractor will understand that this president is not the kind of president who sits in Abuja waiting for fake pictures. You saw the other day. The president needs to be mobile, active, and agile. That's why you must not vote for a man who is sick and incapacitated, so that he can see the projects for himself. You are supposed to be lively, not lifeless. Right? Thank you. Last question, please.
The last question. You know it's all. Yeah. You don't ma. Yeah. You don't even Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you.
Your 10-point agenda.
Spicer heat is what we call it.
You make mention of corruption.
Yes.
We all know in this country that the problem that we are having is corruption.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, in what way do you want to tackle corruption? Because I was fortunate to work in a company, I actually studied import and export management technology. So I was working in Apapa, where we have revenues. I want to believe that the second largest revenue where Nigeria government generates is from the ports. Yes. And then there is heavy corruption with the custom people, the Navy people, and everyone who is bringing in consignment into this country. Yes. Then I want to ask you, sir, please, how do you intend to tackle corruption in this area, to get back resources to fund this infrastructure? And apart from the port corruption and other sectors in Nigeria where there are so many corruption, where the Nigerian government, the leaders in the Nigeria system does not even want to see the common man on the street living fine. Yeah. And then would you genuinely and sincerely fight corruption and not fighting your opponents just like our current president did? Because the current president has banned 50 leaders from traveling just because they are opponents of his opinion. Yes. So I want to ask, please, sir, what is your plan to bring corruption to an end point in Nigeria? I know it's not easy, but what's the possible way?
What I will say to you, thank you for that great question, and I just want to tell you that if you deduct the number of years I've fought corruption from my life, you probably have nothing left. I've been fighting corruption my entire life, starting from my university days. Probably you guys didn't know about anti-Babangida riots or anti-SAP riots in 1989. We did it. what did we fight Babangida for? The embezzlement of $120 million that they borrowed from the World Bank for education. In 1992, what did we fight Babangida for? The embezzlement of $12 billion that we generated from the Gulf War boom. Anybody heard about the Gulf War boom?
Yeah.
Yes, that Babangida embezzled. I've been fighting corruption my entire life up to the point that I now decided in 2006 to set up a website dedicated mainly to fighting corruption. And today, if you want to look for the encyclopedia of corrupt people, go to Sahara Reporters. But the question directly is this: we must not allow people to steal, first and foremost. It's to prevent thieves from laying their hands. Like Jonathan said, anywhere you have yams, there must be goats. But the moment you keep your yams in the barn and the goats cannot reach it, then you don't lose your yams. And how do we do it? Technology does it for us. I am a stickler to electronic conduct of business. And it includes that everybody who is a public official in this country who has filed, for instance, a code of conduct bureau form of assets declaration, that asset declaration must be made available to the public, including mine. You should be able to click on the website of the federal government and find out what is the assets of your governor. So that if your governor now started to have assets that he didn't have, you can immediately whistleblow on him. I think secondly, we must pay more attention to whistleblowing. Encourage people who are seeing corruption happening before they happen to say it, and give them the best protection possible. And also let them have a good portion or chunk of whatever they whistleblow on as incentive or reward for whistleblowing. But most importantly, we must have special crimes tribunal to try corrupt persons. I'm in support of that. And there will be special courts that are very fast, efficient, and have qualified people, and also act transparently. How do you get a corruption case tried since 2007 and the thing has not ended? You know, people like Ojikalu, all of them have been in court since 2007. The kids that were born in 2007, some of them are about to get married. The case has not gone anywhere. It is because our judicial system is as corrupt as the people that they are trying. We must also sanitize our judicial system. It is a lot of things, but what promotes corruption most in Nigeria, I want to say to you, ladies and gentlemen, is the opaqueness of the way we conduct business. We are not transparent about anything. Even when we say that a contract is for open bidding, everybody knows the contract has been awarded before it's even placed in the newspapers. When we say we are even admitting students, all the students have been admitted before the exams have been written, and you are telling me that you don't want corruption. And most importantly, when they see that we are punishing people who are corrupt, our value system will change. Because when you see young kids now, and you ask them who they want to be in Akwa Ibom, they will tell you they want to be Akpabio. But if Akpabio had gone to jail, nobody will want to grow up to become like Akpabio. Yes, and I'm not afraid to say it.
No, you are taking
that position.
Yes.
So our value orientation is wrong because we glorify criminals, and people who are honest are treated as scums of the earth. So these are issues that we would love to even answer more. If you have heard us and you love what you have heard from us today, join our party. We are always on Facebook live streaming, Facebook Live, and ensuring that we answer to questions that you might have that we may not be able to attend to immediately here. We want to thank you so much, Akwa Ibom, brothers and sisters here in Ajah, Lagos. We would love to come back, not only to come back to get you to work more for us, but to come back and thank you when we become the president of the Federal Republic of
Nigeria. It's somehow that no woman has asked a question. Don't we have women here? Mr. President. There's a lady here. Okay, let the woman ask a question. Let it not be like only men.
Good evening, everyone. Please, Mr. President, to be when you are elected.
Listen, we are here.
We'll repeat it to you.
Good evening, everyone. This means the president to be when you are elected, because some presidents look very promising when they are campaigning, but when they get to the post as president, they seem to fail. How are you going to appoint your ministers and the ambassadors that are going to work with you? That when you give them job to do, that they will do it in the right way without stealing money. Because I think that's the problem I normally have. Yeah. That they will say minister of this, minister of this. How are you going to do your own? How are you going to make it
sure that those people are working?
That the people that are going to work with you are going to deliver to the people of Nigeria, to the masses, not
to
for
the
themselves. So that's my question.
Okay, hold on.
Yes.
So if you wanted to add something, just
Yes.
Yeah. Whichever one, Mr. President to be, Mr. Sowore, we are happy to for you to be in our midst. I don't know if INEC has declared campaign, but let me just chip in this. I love you.
Oh wow, thank you.
Based on your promises, and I love young men to be here. But we have heard a lot of this from men young. But after when immediately they get into office, they become old. Sir, what is the structure of action, African Action Congress in Akwa Ibom? I know we had just finished primaries.
Yes.
Who is your gubernatorial candidate in Akwa Ibom State? And where is your secretariat? Because you are a presidential candidate and we are here, the Akwa Ibom indigenes.
Yes.
We should work
Yes.
with your candidate in our state,
yes.
who is our governor to be under your party. Yes. Then we get back to you. But I know you take the bull by the horn by coming to us first. So we would like to know your structure in your state. You have promises all. Agbabio has done more than this before he becomes this. Thank you, sir.
When I joined this one, after the third one,
Yes.
I think the major problem I have as the chairman of this group
Yes.
is unemployment.
Yes.
And I want to ask Johnny with 3 questions. How will it solve youth unemployment if, when you are elected to become the leader of Nigeria? The first lady said, how will you supervise your ministers to work and deliver to the people and not to their pockets?
Yes.
The second man said, what is your party structure in Akwa Ibom? Me, I'm asking, as the burden that I'm facing, in the empowerment of my people, the people that are jobless, people are asking for help every here and there. How will you do to solve unemployment in Nigeria? Seeing that many youth are coming out from school every day by day and there is no job. And what will you do differently to give job to our people?
I will start with unemployment and the provision of employment. In those areas that I read to you that will take place within 2.5 years, there is provision to employ over 5 million people. We are hoping that over 2 million young people will get employed in the electricity sector. This massive project to electrify Nigeria will be one of the biggest things to happen in the sub-Saharan Africa region when we start. Investment will lead to 2 million hands getting employed.
Are you listening?
Yes.
I'm asking for youth employment for you. You are talking a bit.
So for education, for the education sector, we are planning to employ 200,000 teachers. Immediately we are sworn in, who will get trained for 6 months, and those training will lead them to be employed everywhere to teach across the country, right? And in the agricultural sector, where we intend to bring about a revolution. So instead of buying Pajero jeeps, and what is the jeep they use? The one that is common for governors. Some of them have 50 of them. Yes.
Range Rover.
Range Rovers, Land Cruisers. We are buying tractors. So that somebody who has the capability to do 10 hectares of land that's available to his family is not just managing one. The government is there to help you to till the land, provide fertilizers, provide extension services, provide small loans for you so that you can grow your... There's no reason why Nigeria is not feeding the rest of Africa with agriculture. Our lands, some of the best in the world. We have rivers all over the place. I went as far as Bakassi, right? And when we're crossing Bakassi, there's the Cross River itself. We passed the place. Do you know that they gave the contract to a senator for almost 7 years to dredge that place? He has not dredged it, he has disappeared with the money. That's what our brother was talking about, corruption and what corruption has done to us. So between all of our projects, there's 5 million jobs to be created within 4 years. Nobody has done that. And then these are realistic targets. 160,000 health workers that we intend to hire, train, and push them out there so that at the minimum, a Nigerian can test his blood pressure, because that is what is killing most people, heart diseases. We don't even know it. It comes, it creeps into it. Before you know it, they said the man didn't wake up the next day. They are looking for all the witches in the house. No witch killed anybody. It's your fucking blood pressure that blew, or your veins blew up in your brain and you died overnight because you never checked your blood pressure since you were born. At the minimum, we must know all these things. With regards to ministers, who are the people that are following us today? Not thieves. They are young people, not only in Nigeria, across the world, who have joined hands together to say we must change this country. They are the people we are going to put as ministers. It is when they purchase the form for you, like they did for Buhari. It was Silva that purchased Buhari's form for him. And then they purchased the presidency for you. Then they decide who your ministers are. Buhari opened his mouth and said he didn't know most of the ministers he appointed. Yes. So that is why he went and chose a tailor to be head minister. Head minister opened his mouth and said that his tailor is a doctor. That is what the head minister said 2 weeks ago. That why do people need doctors? My tailor is a doctor. Can you imagine? One of them, Minister of Communications, saw me on radio station and was telling me that I'm inconsequential. That tells you the quality of ministers, and the quality of ministers is dependent or equivalent to the quality of the brain of the president himself, because the president is the chief hiring officer for the nation. He must look for the best, hire them and put them to work, motivate them, incentivize them and reward them where necessary. But in our country, the president says he doesn't even know his ministers. And to make it worse, Buhari works only 4 hours a day. You are hearing it from me. That is how bad his health is. And I don't know why people are so wicked. You are in such bad shape. The country has been kind to you. What else do you want from the country? Right? Just go back to your village where you have your 150 cows. Stay with them until you go back to your crib. The party structure in Akwa, we have a robust party structure, and in fact we are coming to you for a rally very soon. And we will unveil our governorship candidates. We're doing background checks. Some of the candidates that you see these days, that's how they didn't find out that some of them didn't have NYC or fake NYC because they don't do background checks on them. So we are making sure that every paperwork is in place before we announce to you, and we will come to Akwa Ibom to announce physically. And I urge all of you who might have people in Akwa Ibom who are willing to volunteer for us, please send them their way. We want to penetrate every nook and cranny of this country. Take the message of deliverance to this country.
Before we close, we are going to pray for him. We're going to pray with them. We're going to commit into the hands of God. But sir, probably I'm going to collect your number personally.
Yes.
Because by the time I met fella, he gave me his number. When he won the primary, he called me. He says, I've won. I told him congratulations. But I want to officially invite you that these Akwa Ibom people in this axis cover Victoria, Malete, Ibekileke, Chiosa. We converge. We'll be converging here on the 16th of November to have what we call Akwa Ibom Day. December 3rd Sunday of December, like 16th. And we're going to invite top people from our society and some Akwa Ibom who are living in this axis. We want to do cultural display and food fair. We want to officially, we're going to send you a letter. We're going to want to officially invite the president of these members that you should attend our end of the year party. And I think we will also provide that very platform for you, because we are going to see a large number of Bible minds.
Yes.
Even people that have never been here before, they will come that way because there will be enough to eat and to drink. So people will be able to talk to them. We love to hear this idea going places. We want a younger person, we want the young generation to take over new breed. We want to bring the fresh age. Because in Nigeria we are determined we will vote out Buhari. Yes. And by the grace of God, a young man like you will come in. Amen. Nigeria will experience progress. Amen. Somebody said if PDP man is elected, Nigeria will go back 10 times. I said it is a lie. If a young man like Sowore is coming in, all the ideas, technology rules the world. Yes. I have a sister that lives in Paris. She said, if you go to bank, I work with Zenith Bank, and you know, bank, there are so many people. Say if you go to bank there, I can only see 2 or 3 people. They use technology in operating. People use drones, they use technology in fighting crime. And here we are killing our soldiers. The husband, the wife, they are done every day. So the other people that have talked about data, like Sowore, I think we really need to give him a chance. We need to talk to our brothers and sisters at home, everywhere. Those at home to support his presidential bill. Sir, I promise you, Akwa Ibom people in this axis will support you. Yes. Our prayer is that on behalf of Akwa Ibom, when we do this, please don't forget the common man. Yes. Because posterity will judge everything that we are doing today. Our prayer is that God will stand by his side. Yes. Please, shall we rise to our feet? Okay, can somebody move for adjournment? Can somebody move for a motion for adjournment?
I, Mr. Patrick Kefiong, I move for adjournment.
Patrick Kefiong has moved that this meeting will be adjourned to another. A seconder. I'm not a seconder.
By the judge.
A seconder.
Paul
James. Seconder. Thank you.
Yeah. You don't have
Thank you. Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
We want to jointly pray. Please, sir, you kneel down before God. Do not be